Doom isn't typically an experience you associate the word large with. Replayable, yes. Rife with secrets, definitely. Rip and tear until it is done. But classic Doom, Doom 2, and even Doom 64 are considerably well-paced romps of brutality. Even Doom 2016 feels easily digestible in that regard. It's not impossible to finish its story within 2 evenings and have your feel of demonic deconstruction. Doom Eternal changed that, which was apparent in how long your average stage and encounter could take to complete, depending on your mastery of the mechanics and knowledge of where to go. A higher skill ceiling is nothing to fuss about, but id Software went further by stuffing the title with all the lore and world building it could muster. You could get by with a glance at the Slayer's testaments in 2016, but Eternal demanded you understand the gravity, the weight of the conflict and its players. Suffice it to say that there is so much going on in the Doom universe beyond the copious amounts of demonic disembowelment. Both parts of its DLC are their own full-fledged game in terms of content and complexity. Everything combined makes for one of the biggest first-person shooter campaigns ever. On average, How Long to Beat estimates that the entire main story of Eternal and its DLC could take 24 hours to complete. Completionists could easily hit 41 hours if they aim for everything, man. You should, since there's a wealth of content and secrets to discover.
It was not me. It was Samuel. He led them to his tomb. Please, we can overcome this. I promise. The gate will be opened as planned.
So why does any of this matter? Because when I tell you that Doom the Dark Ages is shaping up to be the biggest and perhaps even the greatest Doom yet, its magnitude is apparent. First is the setting. The Dark Ages addresses an essential component of the Slayer story, namely, what happened before the events of Doom 2016. While id Software hasn't confirmed whether we'll experience every little detail, the Doom Marine's arrival in Argent d'Nur, his joining the Night Sentinels, and eventually becoming the only thing that demons actually fear, it promises that fans will witness the Slayer's creation and turn the tides of the war. For some perspective, the battles described in Argent d'Nur aren't the skirmishes seen in Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal. These are full-fledged war zones where the Sentinels face off against hordes of demons. No, the Slayer isn't suddenly going all battlefield, but it's worth appreciating how much larger the conflicts are, both in scale and importance. You're controlling a brutal weapon of war, but you're still fighting in the same war, which means levels to your delivery of death. We've already seen that with the new Dragon Mount and Alten Mech, it has already confirmed that these aren't specific set pieces you'll control for brief moments, but are fully fleshed out with their own mechanics. Dogfights with demonic forces and landing in structures to clear out foes before jumping back into the fray seem to be the order of the day. As for the Atlan, you'll go toe-to-toe with giant demons in kaiju-like battles of a scale unlike any seen thus far. Whether you're a fan of Pacific Rim, Power Rangers, or Shogo Mobile Armor Division, rest in peace Monolith, this alone could be worth the price of admission. But that's only the tip of the iceberg here. Several weapons like the shotgun and super shotgun return in classic fashion, but almost everything else has been revamped from top to bottom. Then you have the new guns like the Skull Crusher, which uses skulls as ammo and grinds them into shards to launch at enemies, outright eviscerating them up close.
And then fight.
Meanwhile, the Rail Spike is perfect for Half-Life fans who missed the crossbow, allowing them to pin enemies into walls and provide some much-needed home decor for Hell. Then you'll have the new melee weapons like the Flail, Mace, and Gauntlet, or the Shield Saw, which allows for parrying and throwing at enemies like a buzzsaw. And while the acrobatics of Doom Eternal made for some fun times, the Dark Ages is aiming for a heavier, meaner Slayer. One more grounded and powerful, built like a tank, with Frank Miller's The Dark Knight cited as an inspiration. Yet, it also brings us back to the era of classic Doom with its boots-on-the-ground approach. The action will be unrelentingly furious though, with even more demons to battle than ever before. But above all else, id Software promises this to be the biggest campaign it's ever made by a good bit. Director Hugo Martin said it's really long, with an extensive amount of side content to discover. I think it's going to be mostly about secret hunting. If you explore all the secrets and if you're a completionist, you're certainly going to make it a much larger experience for yourself. He also hypes the levels as the largest spaces we've ever made. However, they aren't going to be too long, with the team referring to an hour as the sweet spot, to ensure they don't really overstay their welcome. Even if you're not going out of your way to discover everything, this is a massive campaign delivering tons of variety. One example provided by Martin to Edge is how you could begin in a dungeon-like space, which then transitions in the second half of the level into a more open-ended portion. Further sealing the deal is the lack of multiplayer, and while that translates to fewer marketing blurbs compared to Doom 2016 or even Eternal, it also means id Software could devote all of its attention to the campaign. As executive producer Marty Stratton explained, we know that our campaigns are to a great extent what people come to the modern Doom games to play, so we decided to put all of our efforts behind that and really create the biggest and best Doom game we've ever made. Scrapping multiplayer also means the studio can focus on features like the Dragon Mountain Alton mech. I don't know about you, but those are some pretty nice compromises after everything we've seen thus far. Now, what truly sells this for me is id Software understanding that bigger doesn't automatically equal better. It isn't trying to create these larger, meandering levels just to drag on the campaign, or adding as much content as possible to ensure you get your $70 worth. The pacing, the level of polish, the emphasis on storytelling and its importance, especially for such a critical juncture of the Slayer's life, the team is just focusing really hard on these things to provide the best possible experience for fans. Doom: The Dark Ages launches on May 15th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC alongside Game Pass. And as I look back on the series and how far it's come with its scale, fidelity, and the sheer amount of secrets and variety of demons to stomp, it really does feel like a culmination of everything thus far. The best of the old and new, but elevated to new heights and begging for players to fully uncover its depths. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.